We're going to dig into a course now. So I'm on my dashboard page and I'm going to be clicking on this training course Sandbox number 2, and you will have access to other recently accessed courses as well as other courses below that you are enrolled in. Okay, so I have set some things up in this course, but I'm going to walk you through just the basic structure of it, starting with the upper left-hand corner on the toolbar. So there are some changes if you're used to the previous Moodle installs. This is a quick button that'll get you back to this particular course. This quick button up here on Moodle is how you're going to jump back to your dashboard at any point. So I'm going to click back into my course here. We have our participants list. So we can quickly see who's in our course. We can see when the last time was that they accessed a course, are they active, and then their roles. So most of the folks that would be in your courses would be listed as students, and you are able to enroll users through here as well. So we can go in and we can click enroll. The key here is going to be choosing the role first, just to ensure you don't accidentally enroll someone that you're thinking that you're going to be enrolling as a student. Yours may say student or student view. I do have a few extra options. So I'm going to put student view here, and then I could look up any particular person and enroll them in here. So always putting in the student view, then searching for particular last name, and then I could select whoever I wanted to and push them through. So then I can hit enroll users. I can also come in here and adjust this after the fact. So if I needed to change to a different role, the key here is that you do have to type in whatever role you want. So if I wanted her to instead be a student, I could click student, and then I could click X on faculty, and you will then click the tiny little save button, which looks like an old floppy disk. So we'll hit save, and now she's listed as just a student. So that is our basic participants list. If you do have a course that has many students, for instance, some of our placement exam Moodle courses have a couple hundred students in there, so I could also change it so I could just look at last name starts with L. So then I could see that there's 2 of us in here, and I could even do further filtering if I needed to. Again, I could also see if there was a like placement exam that has many different people in it. If I just wanted to look at role, who has the role of faculty, I could do that. And I would have to adjust so it's only showing all the different names and it's not filtering by last name anymore. So this would show me that these 2 folks are listed as faculty. So again, I could make those adjustments. So this is how you're going to be able to manage your users, figure out who's in there, get a quick look to see if they've accessed your course recently, and then if there's a concern there, you can always follow up. We're going to dig into grades further in a separate recording, but you can get a quick view of your grades here, any of the items that you have added to your course, be it directly where students are interacting with something, for instance an assignment where they are actually uploading something. You can also put in items within the gradebook that are more informational, such as participation or some other outside hand-in, so it wouldn't be a digital upload directly. So on the side here, if we click back to just the main overview, you can see here that we have a section called General, and then we have a number of different topics. And this is something that's new on Moodle, and it shows you each one of these topics on the side. This is set up so I've set this up in advance, so we're using a topic outline and we're using collapsible options. So I'm going to show you how to adjust that too, but you can quickly see that because of the way that I've set this one up, that I can click through and I can make different adjustments. I can recollapse them after I've opened them up. Also, a couple of the things that you're used to on this particular side, on the left column, was your administration block, and so a lot of those, most of those things are available now under here. And so all of these different sections, you'll notice and some of these were available in the previous install of Moodle, you're going to get these little gears, and that means that anytime you see the gear, you're able to adjust some sort of settings in that particular block. You're also going to see these, and again, this was on the previous Moodle, but some things are now able to be moved a little bit more. So any of these will allow you to move sections up and down and sort of organize your own Moodle course, so it shows and prioritizes things that you care about more than others. Coming back here up to the top, we're going to go in and we're going to actually click on Edit Settings. You can also see that we used to have a button that said Turn Editing On and Off right up here, and now that is also under this gear. So we're going to keep the editing on. I'd already turned that on. That's how we have all of the edit tools, the little pencil, so the edit, as well as we get the edit buttons there. But for right now, we're going to just go back into Edit Settings, and this is what controls the overarching look of your course and some of the functionality. So I already have my course title. These things are not usually things that you adjust. It also shows me that this particular course is listed under administrative groups. There's academic courses, and that could be whichever department you're teaching a course in. Show and hide is very crucial for faculty. When a course is created, it is automatically hidden, so you can see it, you can make adjustments, but the students are not able to access that course until it is shown, and that will completely hide it from their front dashboard view until you make this adjustment. So if you're working on a course and you want to add some things in, and you're not quite ready for the students to be able to access anything, just keep this as hidden and then only open it up when you're ready. The course start date should be aligned with our semesters, so this should not be anything that you have to set up. When your courses are automatically created, these start and end dates should align with the semester. This is new for the courses in the new Moodle install, and that allows you to put that image in. So otherwise they just have a kind of a colorful graphic that is just auto set for each individual course, but you're able to put an image in. So I downloaded this. It's a Creative Commons image, so I didn't have to get any copyright, and it's just a sandbox. So since we're in a sandbox type of course where we can poke around and do whatever we want, we don't have to worry about making any mistakes, I thought I would put a picture in so you can make that adjustment and pull in anything you need. And so you can see it in my files list here. Course format. So a couple new additions are in this one. So before we always had topics format, social format, and weekly format. Weekly format will allow you to again line up with the semester, and so it will give you 15 weeks, and each week will actually correspond with the first, second, third weeks of the semester. The topics format just allows you to have each topic and the title within each one. And social format we tend not to use very much. Single activity format, that's also a newer one. But the key that we would most likely be using are the collapsible topics format and the collapsible weeks format. And we just saw that earlier how you can show one topic at a time and hide it, and that way it makes it much more streamlined when students are trying to scroll through a course. Some courses are extremely long because they're content heavy, and sometimes it felt a little bit overwhelming. So by having this quick guide over here, now this course in particular isn't particularly helpful because it's still going off of the original titles, topic 1, 2, 3, but we can adjust that and we can give much more specific things like lesson 1 or readings or assignments, so you can coordinate your topics to align with whatever, however your course is structured, however your syllabus is structured. So I'm going to keep it with the collapsible topics. Hidden sections are shown in collapsed form, so anything that you have already hidden, it would be in collapsed form, or you could make them completely invisible. And this is something that Moodle, the new Moodle, has an option to have an activity completion option. So this would allow you to have a series of sequential assignments or readings, and the students have to work on each one, and I'm going to go to that so you can see what the requirement is for it to technically be completed. But for this, it'll show a progress bar that if you have enabled the completion, the activity completion, that it'll show how far the student is working towards finalizing it. And with all of these, in any of these settings options, you do have this tiny little question mark. And so this again will give you a little bit of a description to help you understand a little bit more of what that means. So if I hadn't told you what the progress bar was, maybe you would have been a little bit confused. So it says display a progress bar, right to section names if activity completion is activated. So down here we do have an option where it says completion tracking. So these two things are connected. Again, you can look up under course format. If we wanted to know a little bit more about social format, format is displayed on the forum is displayed on the course page. So that format is based mostly on discussion, and it doesn't have a lot of other options within there. So it tends to be most of our faculty are interested in using topics and weekly format. Course, appearance. You can have the language forced. We tend not to do that. It's English are the options within Moodle here. Number of announcements. You can put in how many you want on that. Gradebook, this is a key change, or not a change, but a key element that you want to make note of. I do believe that normally the gradebook is defaulting to yes. So even if you don't use the gradebook, if you are adding in assignments, it will show those to the students if the gradebook is available. Even if you're not using the gradebook or you're not grading the items directly in Moodle, they will at least see that it exists. So if you have no interest in using the gradebook, or maybe you want to use it later but you don't have everything outlined, you can just say, nope, I don't want to show it to the gradebook, show the gradebook to the students. And you can, again, use any of these question marks to show exactly what it looks like. Show activity reports. This allows students to see what they've completed, what they've worked on. It'll even say what dates and gives reports of every time that they essentially accessed the course. So often we have this turned off, but with the level of transparency that you want for your class, you could turn it on so they could really see, how often they're accessing things. And you can also see this information too, even if you don't give this option available to the students. So I can show you that later. Files and uploads, we have our course site upload limit, which is 2 gigabytes. So I usually recommend that we change that to the 2 gigabytes just in case you're requesting anything be larger files. Completion tracking, again, yes, we want to set up the completion tracking, and I'll show you how you would implement that later. You can set up groups so that if you wanted to have students only access one forum if they're in a certain group and one forum if they're in another group, you can set that up. So you initially just have to say yes or no here, and then you can create the groups in a different area. Role renaming, we don't really follow that. We don't really need to use much of that. Tags, again, it's not going to be very relevant for what your use is. And dashboard, this is simply to say on my dashboard, I want to focus like the top area on administrative groups, academic groups, student groups. So if you're a professor, you probably you might want to look at your academic courses, have that a priority on your dashboard. As an administrator, I usually want to have my administrative groups on the top, but you can toggle it back and forth, hit save and display, and then you can see what it looks like.